Okay, now ఇక్కడ ఇక్కడ అంటున్నారా స్టార్టింగ్ లో? యా యూ కెన్ ఇక్కడ కంపల్సరీ ట్యాగ్ నేమ్ మెన్షన్ చేయాలి. ఇక్కడ చేసాము అని అంటే ఆహా, it is not necessary that this tag name and this tag name should be same. It is not necessary. You can search for div also, or span, or anything. Okay, now we have child. Okay, we have child. So child will be below me. I am a parent. He will be ఒక ఆర్గనైజేషన్ చార్ట్ లో చూస్తే గనక, ఒక ఫ్యామిలీ చార్ట్ లో చూస్తే గనక, పేరెంట్స్ విల్ బి యాన్సెస్టర్స్ తర్వాత పేరెంట్స్ తర్వాత చిల్డ్రన్ వస్తారు, రైట్? సో చైల్డ్ ఇస్ బిలో మీ, బిలో ది పేరెంట్, రైట్? సో దట్ మీన్స్ దట్ we can either use following or child of. Following అనంటే ఏంటి? your అంటే కింద ఉన్న వెబ్ ఎలిమెంట్స్ ని ఫైండ్ చేస్తున్నారు. ద సేమ్ వే యూ విల్ బి యూజింగ్ ద చైల్డ్ ఆల్సో. ఓకే, నౌ హౌ డు యూ రైట్? Okay, let's take it for this thing. Okay, child. Okay, span ఏం లేదు. ఓకే, div input. I think we have written something wrong. Okay, ఉంది కదా? One second. For password or for username, I am finding out a current web element. Okay, copy web element. This is the current web element. From this current web element, I'm writing it as star. Okay, at the rate id is equal to txt username, ending the brackets, child. Okay, colon span. Let's see. No, we are writing something wrong. Wait. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I forgot. Now, this is my current web element. Okay, this is my current web element. I am taking the I'm removing this off. Okay. id is equal to div is my web element. Okay, so I'm writing the XPath as star. Okay, star at the rate. Okay, sorry. Okay, div. If I have to find out, one second, no? Okay, here they have taken XPath of this div tag. Okay, so we have written the XPath. For that particular XPath, okay, input is the tag name that they are able to find out with. Okay. Okay, now this is the parent web element. Okay, div is equal to div password is the parent web element. For this parent web element, how do you know whether it is a parent web element or a child web element? ఈ arrow unda drop arrow దీని లోపల child undi, right? Usually if you find out, if you inspect this particular web element, మీరు directly దీనికే వెళ్తారు, right? Kani, this is the child web element, this is the parent web element for which we have a child web element that as txt password. Okay, so ఇప్పుడు ఇది find out చేస్తే 1 of 1 వచ్చింది. Okay, యూజర్ నేమ్ కి ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేస్తే this is the parent web element for username div is equal to txt username div username. This is the parent web element and this is the child web element for username. Okay, if you run this particular program మీకు అర్థమవుతుంది క్లియర్ గా. నేను ఒకవేళ రన్ చేస్తే see first username అనేది parent web element హైలైట్ అయింది. Now దానిలో ఒక child web element undi, so that got highlighted. First parent web element will get highlighted. In that particular parent web element there will be a child web element. Okay, so that means that ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ div username is the parent web element. In this particular parent web element there is a child web element called txt input is name is equal to txt username. ఎలా తెలుస్తుంది ఇది parent web element అని? Can you see this drop down button? This is the parent web element. ఇందులో child దాక్కుని ఉంది. Okay, clear? Any questions? Concerns? Sorry?
స్పాన్ కూడా చైల్డ్ కే వస్తుంది కదా మేడం, డివ్ ట్యాగ్ కి
స్పాన్ కూడా వస్తుంది.
ఓకే మ్యామ్ పేరెంట్
వన్ సెకండ్ చెప్పండి. ఐడి ఐడి ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు txt యూజర్ నేమ్ అని రాస్తే రాదు, బికాస్ దిస్ ఇస్ ద చైల్డ్ వెబ్ ఎలిమెంట్. మీరు ఐడి ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు txt యూజర్ నేమ్ అని రాస్తే అదే కరెంట్ వెబ్ ఎలిమెంట్ అయిపోతుంది కదా. దట్ విల్ నాట్ హ్యావ్ అ చైల్డ్ వెబ్ ఎలిమెంట్. దిస్ డజంట్ హ్యావ్ ఎనీ చైల్డ్ వెబ్ ఎలిమెంట్. దిస్ ఇస్ ద పేరెంట్ వెబ్ ఎలిమెంట్. ఈ డ్రాప్ డౌన్ ఉంది కదా, దానిలో ఇది చైల్డ్ వెబ్ ఎలిమెంట్ అన్నమాట. క్లియర్? If you write directly id is equal to txt username, this will not be a child web element. This will not be having any child web elements. Drop down unda deenki ee arrow button unda, idi unte idi parent web element, this is a child web element.
Here we are writing using child keyword.
Yes,
avla rase cheyali.
sorry నాకు క్వశ్చన్ అర్థం కాలేదు. ఆన్లైన్
child keyword use chesi rasedappudu we have to use a parent adi id.
Exactly. So whenever you are about to find the keyword, about to find the current web element by using the child web element, you will have to write the object property of parent web element. So parent ఇప్పుడు మదర్ ఉంది, మదర్ womb లో oka babu or papa untadi, right? So physical appearance you will be able to see as a mother. However, in the womb you will not be able to see unless and until the baby comes out or scanning lo etla undi adi chustam kada. So the same way you have to first locate the parent web element. Parent web element ki manam child okati find out chestunnam. So parent web element enti, div username is your parent, and in that particular web element we have a child, oka child dakkoni undi anamata. Okay, now a star place lo ikkada no, child is not the tag name, right? Child is not a tag name, that's a keyword to find out a particular web element. Yes, yes. Now preceding అయిపోయింది కదా, following siblings. Okay, siblings means your brothers or sisters, right? Now if I have to go ahead and find out my following siblings, I'm again using div username, right? Div username. So this is my parent web element. Okay, same hierarchy level lo unnai following siblings anamata, same hierarchy level lo. So that means that div username is one sibling. These are all siblings anamata. Div username is one sibling, div password is one sibling, div login button is another sibling, whichever are on the same hierarchical level. Okay, same hierarchy lo undi ani etta telustundi? These arrows or these symbols are placed in same row. Okay, yes. So how to write? You've written until here. What you have to do is following siblings div. Okay, one of three. Which one? Ikkada password? No, you will not be able to know. You have to specify the tag name that you are searching for. If following sibling lo, which tag name you are selecting for? If you are selecting it as span, you should be knowing span lo, span following siblings enni unnai ani cheppesi telusukuntaru. div అని అంటే same hierarchical level, so we are searching with div. Which inspection? You will be similarly able to do this inspection in your real time also. The same way that we are showing now, you will be able to do the inspection in that particular web page also, the similar way. It is on you how you are analyzing that particular XPath or object property. Yes, yes. Unless and until you know the current web element, you will not be able to do anything. Okay, now I'm inspecting. Yes, relative XPath only. I'm inspecting this particular web element. Okay, I'm copying this particular web element. Following siblings ఒకటి రాయాలి, గుర్తు చేయండి నాకు. Okay, this is my current web element. I'm writing the XPath for this particular web element. Okay, @id is equal to txt username. colon colon. Okay, I'm selecting it as div. Okay, now if I have to find out what are the other web elements, parent web elements for my particular current web element, okay, then I can write it as parent div. So that means that child ki nenu em chesanu, child ki div username తీసుకున్నాను, parent web element ది తీసుకున్నాను. Now for parent what I'm using is txt username తీసుకుంటున్నా, child reference తీసుకొని I am searching for my parent web element. However, for in order to find out your child web element, then I am taking the parent web elements reference and finding out the child. Okay, clear? అర్థమైందా? ఇక్కడ నేను పేరెంట్ తీసుకున్నాను కాబట్టి my current web element becomes this, right? My current web element becomes this. I am finding out who is the parent for this particular web element. My immediate parent is div username. The similar way, if I have to search for child, okay, I'm writing it here as child. I'm not able to see anything because txt username is the current web element that itself is a child. Okay, so now I have to take this id is equal to div username. id is equal to div username. Correct hai kada?
ఇన్పుట్ మార్చాలి మనం.
Okay, div, right? Tag name. Okay. Okay. With the help of child web elements reference, we can find out parent web element. With the help of parents web element object properties, I can find out child web element this thing XPath. Okay, clear? This is quite opposite, confusion ga undi kani analyze how we are doing. Okay, clear until here? Now there's something called self. Self means finding out a particular web element by itself. Finding out a particular web element by itself. ఏమీ లేదు, ఏం చేస్తాము, XPath రాస్తాము, // input. If the tag name is input, you will be writing it as input. Within the square brackets, you will be writing the one of the object properties, // self అన్న keyword use చేసి colon and you are specifying the tag name which you want to select. Okay, so this is the XPath that we will be using for self. So I'm going ahead and finding out so by itself ante తనకు తనే search చేసుకుంటుంది, txt username అంటే txt username కే వెళ్తది, self అంతే. Okay, child అన్న descendant అన్న ఒకటే. Okay, descendant spelling wrong. Okay, right? DSCEN right? Right. Okay, now ikkada manam parent web element చూస్తున్నాము, parent web element reference తీసుకుంటున్నాము, which is this, right? So what we have to write, div open brackets @id is equal to div username, right? And I'm writing it as descendant colon, and if I say it as div, okay. Okay. నాకు తెలిసి div అన్ని లేవు, so that's the reason why I did not find out input. Yeah, even if you remove these quotations, no, we have to put the quotations inside. Okay, so descendant means I'm taking the XPath of my parent web element and I'm finding out the child web element. Okay, so descendant and child are one and the same. Okay, now
Even for also is also same, madam.
yes, following is also same. This is for your reference how many ways we can go ahead and find out a particular web element. ఇది మీ reference గురించి మాత్రమే. Okay, starts with, now starts with we contains text of and partial link text one and the same. Starts with means we are taking only the partial value of a particular web element. Okay, now how do you write a starts with? Okay, you're just writing it as starts with text of. Obviously, starts with means we are starting with a particular text, right? So starts with a text of and we are writing the partial value of that particular text. So this means, this also means that whenever a particular web element's value keeps on changing dynamically, then we can use contains text of or starts with text of, right?
Partial in the sense, no need to give the starting letters, madam.
You can either see whenever a particular web element has, if this particular web element has a starting, it is starting with number or some number and with this particular text. Okay, you can remove this number off and you can keep the check with the value that is stagnant, that does not change. Okay, for example, I said inbox 25, right? I said something called inbox 25. Okay, so in this I will just take search with the value as inbox instead of 25. Instead of taking inbox 25, I can just search the value as inbox, because inbox is the stagnant one that will not change. Okay, so that's the reason why we are taking it as inbox or nation. Okay, use starts with. Okay, any questions so far? Advanced XPaths done. I am about to write following siblings, right? Okay, these are advanced XPaths concepts. Okay, yes. I will share this off in the group. Just give me a minute. Can somebody share that in revision batch also?
మేడం ఒకసారి చైల్డ్ చెప్పారు చూడండి మేడం, ఒక్కసారి అది చెప్పరా మేడం? అది ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ప్రాపర్టీస్ యూస్ చేసి అండ్ చైల్డ్ ఇష్ట పేరెంట్ ఇచ్చారు కదా, కాలన్ ఒకసారి చైల్డ్ డిఐవి. వాట్ ఈస్ ద మీనింగ్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ చైల్డ్ డిఐవి? వి ఆర్ ఫైండింగ్ child input tags with the div.
Okay,
the tag
ఈ చైల్డ్ ది ఎలా ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేస్తున్నాము అని అంటే, యు ఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు ది ఈ వెబ్ ఎలిమెంట్ ఉందా, div యూజర్ నేమ్ or div పాస్వర్డ్ ఉందా? ఫస్ట్ మీరు దీనిది XPath తీసుకుంటారు. ఓకే, yeah, I'm writing it here as div పాస్వర్డ్. దాని తర్వాత చైల్డ్ ఇది పేరెంట్ వెబ్ ఎలిమెంట్, దీనికి చైల్డ్ వెబ్ ఎలిమెంట్ ఇది అవుతుంది. నాకు మాన్యువల్ గా తెలుసు ఎట్లా చూడాలో అని, బట్ హౌ డు ఐ రైట్ ఇట్ ఇన్ ది ఫార్మ్ ఆఫ్ XPath? సో దీని ట్యాగ్ నేమ్, చైల్డ్ ది ట్యాగ్ నేమ్ ఏముంది, ఇన్పుట్. సో ఇన్పుట్ ఇస్ ద ట్యాగ్ నేమ్, సో ఐఎమ్ రైటింగ్ ఇట్ యాజ్ ఇన్పుట్. ఓకే, క్లియరా? సో చైల్డ్ ని ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేయాలి అని అంటే నేను రెఫరెన్స్ వచ్చేసి పేరెంట్ ది తీసుకోవాలి. అదే పేరెంట్ ని ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేయాలి అని అంటే చైల్డ్ రెఫరెన్స్ తీసుకొని నేను ఇట్లా ఈ పేరెంట్ ని వెబ్ ఎలిమెంట్ ని ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేసుకుంటాను. క్లియర్?
ఓకే మ్యామ్,
రైట్. యాక్చువల్లీ దిస్ షుడ్ బి ఇన్పుట్. ఓకే,
అదే నాకు
డిఐవి లేదు, ఇన్పుట్ అది. ఓకేనా?
ఓకే మ్యామ్.
Any questions guys so far? Shall I move to the next topic? Advanced XPaths are very important. Please do practice right after this class. Okay. Now, actions class. By using actions class available kada? Okay. By using actions class, we can do actions class is the class that is provided in Selenium. Okay, now with the help of actions class we can do n number of things. What we can do, I will explain you. Okay, now mouse hover action. By using actions class we can go ahead and use mouse hover action by using actions class. Okay, how? In Orange HRM, okay, Orange HRM admin login, user management ki velli, okay, then reference create chesaru, and his mouse hovering on this particular web element. Okay, right. So I'm logging into Orange HRM. Okay, admin, user management ki ikkada meer chuste drop down undi. Drop down, this is not a drop down. If you just go and mouse over on this particular thing, there is another sub menu that is popping up, right? Admin is one of the menu option. Under this there is a sub menu which is user management. Under user management there is users. This is another sub menu. Okay, mouse over on this admin, click on this admin button. Instead of clicking on username, user management and users, okay, you can just go ahead and use this mouse hover option in actions class by using actions class. అర్థమైందా? ఈ అడ్మిన్ అన్న మాడ్యూల్లో యూజర్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ అనేది ఒక సబ్ మాడ్యూల్ ఉంది. ఓకే, ఈ మాడ్యూల్ మీద క్లిక్ చేయట్లేదు నేను, జస్ట్ ఇట్లా మౌస్ ఓవర్ చేస్తే నాకు డిఫరెంట్ సబ్ మెన్యూస్ వస్తున్నాయి, రైట్? లిస్ట్ వస్తుంది మెన్యూస్ ది. ఆర్గనైజేషన్ లో జనరల్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్, లొకేషన్ ఉంది, క్వాలిఫికేషన్ లో స్కిల్స్. ఐఎమ్ నాట్ క్లికింగ్, ఐఎమ్ జస్ట్ మౌస్ ఓవరింగ్ ఆన్ దీస్ పర్టికులర్ web elements, right? So instead of going ahead and clicking on right clicking, inspecting this particular web element and then going ahead and right clicking, inspecting on users లో దాని తర్వాత మనం చెయ్యాలి అలా కాకుండా we can directly use mouse over option in actions class. Okay, how can we do that? Now if you see, actions is the class that is provided by Selenium. Okay, this is a class that is provided by Selenium. So by using this class, we can go ahead and create an object reference in order to mouse over on a particular web element. Now, how do we do it? I'm writing set of driver instructions to open the Chrome browser and launch the Orange HRM website, right? After that, we are giving the instructions to log in into that particular web page, right? After that, what we are doing is we are creating a object reference for each and every web element. So here admin will become a web element. Dindi nenu XPath తీసుకుంటాను, XPath or whatever it is. So I am creating a object reference for that particular web element, right? So ikkada id is equal to menu ani some object reference ade some value icharu web element ki. So object, I've created an object reference as admin, okay, is equal to, and I am writing the XPath for that particular web element. Admin ki oka value emi kavale nenu adi rastunnanu, right? The same way we have created an object reference for user management web element also, this web element also. Similarly, we have created a object reference for users also, and we have given the value as find element by dot XPath, and we are providing the XPath for that particular web element. Okay, now what we are doing is we are writing this line of code, actions is equal to, so we have created a, actions is a class, I said. We have created an object reference for that particular actions class, and we are giving the value as new actions of driver. Now we are using this particular actions object reference, and we are saying it as move to element. Move to element, we are not clicking, we are moving on this particular web element. Move to element, and we are saying it as admin. Okay, admin is the, ikkada nenu XPath name తీసుకోవట్లేదు. Instead of taking XPath here, I have taken the given the object reference value as XPath and given the value, right? So అందుకునే ఆ object reference నేను ఇక్కడ యూజ్ చేస్తున్నా. Okay, now again I am saying move to element. ikkada move ayin tarvata it should move to this user management. Okay, so move to element and specifying the object reference value where it has to move on to. The similar way, move to element, the last one is users. Users meeda vachi click cheyali, right? It should be clicking on this users. It should not be clicking on each and every web element. It should be clicking on the last web element, which is users, right? So what I'm doing is click dot build dot perform. So on whichever web element you want to click that particular on a particular web element, you will write it as move to element, and you will be specifying the element where it has to be moving to, and click dot build dot perform. So if you write this line of code, okay, you will be able to go ahead and click on that particular web elements. On these particular web elements, you will be mouse hovering. I will show you. I'm just executing this particular program, okay? We are not clicking on each and every web element. We are mouse hovering. See, it did not click on each and every web element. It just mouse hovered. Okay. Clear? Any questions in this program?
Hello.
Every single time your element, whenever you're writing an element, E will be capital. Okay. So you have to make sure that whenever you're writing syntax, it is case sensitive. Okay. Syntax ఎలా ఉందో అలాగే రాయాలి. Not only syntax, this programming we are using Java, right? So Java is case sensitive language. So that's the reason why we should be very careful. If you are writing this T as lowercase, you will be getting an error. Automatically, it will be throwing an error. So resolved. Okay. So if you're writing it in a in a incorrect way, then also that's fine. You will be thrown an error on that particular thing. Yes, only with the experience. Purely based on the experience only, you will be able to write a particular programming. Okay. Any
Hello.
questions? Yeah.
Yes, I have a question, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, in that actions dot move to element, in that brackets, you mentioned admin, right?
Yes.
So regarding that, we no need to write driver dot.
We have
under
written
that
here,
method.
right? We have written here, right?
Okay.
Instead of writing it in this bracket, we have create for each and every web element
reference,
wherever we are using, wherever we are mouse hovering, we have taken object reference for that particular web element, and we have given the value as driver.findElement by.xpath and given the value here. So instead of directly writing here in this particular bracket, we can just go ahead and take the object reference, because we have given for that particular object reference, we have given a value. Okay.
Yes.
Clear enough?
Thank you. Clear. Thank you.
This is also the same mouse over value. Okay. On time, attendance and records. Time, attendance, my records. This is also same. We have created object reference for each and every single web element. Actions is equal to new actions of driver, and actions dot move to element, and whichever element you want to move on to, you will be specifying that particular web element's object reference that we have created. Move to element, and again the object reference. Move to element, again the object reference, unless and until you move on to the end object reference or end element, you will have to, on the end element, you will have to write click dot build dot perform, because you're clicking on that particular last web element. Okay. It need not be 4 lines always. It need not be 4 lines always. E2